act. You can whisper behind my back.
Alright everybody, welcome to 100 Speed. What is up everybody, and welcome to 100 Speed. Welcome to 100 Speed. This is the 2003 gxsr 750. And yeah, she looked a lot more beautiful than the previous version of this. Previous version had a stub nose and just the body lines were terrible. And the frame was outdated. But we'll get into that. So this is a 16 valve inline 4 liquid cooled. She puts out 146 horsepower at 3,200 RPM and 62 foot-pounds of torque. Now she has an 18-liter gas tank, quite bigger than the 600s, obviously, and the smaller bikes. And we got an upgraded aluminum frame here. Now the previous version in 99, 98 and everything, it was even outdated for that generation. Now this bike, being a lot lighter, now has a wet weight of 377 pounds. Yes, pounds, because we are in Canada. And it has a top speed of 275 kilometers per hour. So this thing moves. Yes, it does. This bike has a seat height of 31.89 inches, 32 inches, and it has a wheelbase of 54.72 inches. Now, it's longer than the previous bike, but the frame is shorter. The thing that makes it longer is the swing arm on it. They brought that out a bit more. The frame is smaller, and the front shocks just dip right down. Now, a lot of people always complained riding the sports bike in that position is just uncomfortable, but with these handlebars and just the way this bike's set up, it's actually quite comfortable compared to other bikes. Handlebars aren't too aggressive. Yeah, it's just actually nice and pleasant. So here in the front, we got a nice upgrade. You got 2 calipers and 2 pistons per caliper, and obviously 2 rotors to help with that. You got your upside down telescopic shocks, and the tire is 120 by 70 by 17. So this whole front end got a nice little upgrade compared to the previous model. Now here, you have your air ducts. So here's 2 big tubes. Here, you got your intake vents. And this bike isn't too peppy under 7,000 RPM. It's pretty bland and just easy to ride. Don't get me wrong, you can still get up to quite a speed. But above 7 grand, then that's when these intakes really start kicking in. She starts making some power, more fun. More pointy front end compared to the snub nose it had before. It gives it such a better body line. The old design was just not pretty. The engine itself, when we move back here, got a 4% horsepower upgrade, and with the lighter weight of the bike and the new aluminum frame, it makes for a heck of a difference when you're actually riding it. Now this is a 6-speed, and with the way they built this bike, they had the track in mind. So it has the handling and capabilities of the 600, the smaller bike, the more nimble bike, but it also has almost all the power that 1000cc and the leader bikes have. So this bike of this generation was just out of its league. All your friends have 1000cc bikes, because this thing really has no problem keeping up with those. Handling's there, everything's there. So as long as you're a more experienced rider, you'll be fine. As you can see, the owner of this definitely likes to get back on the horse after he falls, and don't get me wrong, I've had my fair share of falls. So this bike has seen its day. She's definitely been laid down a bunch of times, but she's definitely, that's the point. That's what you learn. And you have fun, and you push the limits. More fun. So we are now on the bike going for a ride. Now this engine is a dual overhead cam. It's got fuel injection, and it's definitely got a smooth power delivery. And the harder you push this bike, the stronger and just the better it feels. Now this bike just has a stock exhaust, but as you're going to hear here, it still sounds reasonably well. And a lot less hassle from the 5.0, dealing with them chasing you or anything like that really. So makes it for a better time. Now, this bike runs a 12.5 to 1 compression ratio, and they're chain driven, and they were given a slipper clutch. Now these clutches were for racing, and they help to mitigate engine braking during the decel when you're entering into turns and stuff. It just makes it a lot easier and a better handling bike that way. Surprisingly to me, with such razor sharp handling, the bike does seem to turn in a little slower than I expected into turns, and I believe this is due to their change in the longer swing arm that they added. But it doesn't take away from the comfortable ride and the great suspension setup that they do have for these bikes. Now, looks like I found a friend. I don't know if he's familiar with riding with two people. Seems to be keeping a distance from me here, more than usual. Oh, just as I said earlier in the video, 5.0. Make sure that plate is tucked. And I think we're going to make a left turn here and just get out of this area. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Alright, we're going back. This bike is fun. Now, so with this, we get your analog tachometer, and then you get a digital speedo. So there's nothing too crazy about it. It's pretty basic, and you got some under the seat storage. You also get a multi-function computer with this. So it does have some technology into it, but it doesn't even matter. This bike is just built like a beast. Now the 0 to 60 time, they say, is 2.9 seconds, and it can do a quarter mile of around 10.4 to 10.5 seconds at 136 miles per hour. So it's pretty good. Everything, all the specs line up. It's a fast bike. Now, obviously, you can tell this bike is no slouch, but I definitely do not recommend this bike to any new drivers. Anybody that's new to riding, because it will buck you off like no problem. This thing lifts the front end just like it's its job. And 100%, like when they said they had the track in mind while building this, it definitely created an amazing street bike and track bike for sure. And it keeps up with even the new bikes of today's generation. It was just out of its league when it was made. Hats off to the designers for sure. End this video, we got a couple special clips at the end there. We're going to do some nice pulls for you, and then the last video will be some wheelies, just to give you some fun, show you how easy it is for this front end just to lift up like no tomorrow. And I'll see you next time next week with our next review. Be safe, everybody. Ride.